test.
Penetration, yeah.
Who's OffSec? Go educate the rest. We call the expert DV online training. OffSec room for me service. You must try harder to keep up the pace.
Come now.
Otherwise you will be a big disgrace.
Disgrace.
Tell the competition them to take a rest. OffSec run the game. Let me suggest it. Jim run the Wild West.
OSCP, and OSCE, OSWP, and OSAA. OffSec up on the like lion on Serengeti. And I turn them fire while shooting at the confetti. When you have computer system with no integrity, and you need to give a test, call OffSec, you see. Best defense of what offense said the one chop them see. Proactivate your cover to get that security. Sniffing and diffing and hacking and cracking. Now send the competition, crying and packing. Spoofing and coding, debugging and scanning. Delivering the good like them name Peyton Manning. Reversing what the competition cursing. Them fishing, them wishing, what the other them just wishing. Employing exploits with the samurai precision. OffSec company, them are division.
All OffSec, them are the very best.
The best.
All OffSec for penetration test.
Penetration, yeah.
Who's OffSec? Go educate the rest.
We call the expert DV online training. OffSec room for me service.
You must try harder to keep up the pace.
Man boy,
Otherwise you will be a big disgrace.
disgrace.
Tell the competition them to take a rest. OffSec run the game. Let me suggest it. Jim run the Wild
That
West.
you are a hero today. But boy they found ya 0 day. Them the Navy still the cracking, sell a lot in my pocket, and the rest of them are infantry. Them a king of the bugging, no so them a straight tugging. When they come to the legal acting, and the other skills lacking. Them say try harder, them resolve and never swear. At the training of the big competition second grade. The rest of those noobs who run the tools, say them not have what it takes to break the rules. Run up call it the next like a Jedi master. Breaking out your system like a full-time blaster. Check the counter, boy, you know you have to cop it. Android system, you can hack from your pockets.
All OffSec, them are the very best. All OffSec for penetration tests. Who's OffSec? Go educate the rest.
We call the expert DB online training. OffSec room for me service.
You must try harder to keep up the pace. Otherwise you will be a big disgrace. Tell the competition them to take a rest. OffSec run the game. Let me suggest it. Jim run the Wild West. Can't test OffSec. Can't test OffSec. Oh, can't test OffSec. Can't test OffSec. Oh, pa ping ping ping. Hey.
Yeah, man.
Check that hunter boy, you know you have to copy it. Android system, you can hack from your pockets. Offensive security.
Yeah, all OffSec, yeah man, I'm gonna tell them say offensive security,
All OffSec, them are the very best.
Yeah man,
All OffSec for penetration test.
penetration, yeah.
Who's OffSec? Go educate the rest.
We call the expert DV online training. OffSec room for me service.
You must try harder to keep up the pace.
Come now.
Otherwise you will be a big disgrace.
Disgrace.
Tell the competition them to take a rest. OffSec run the game. Let me suggest it. Jim run the Wild West.
OSCP, and OSCE, OSWP, and OSAA. OffSec up on the like lion on Serengeti. And I turn them fire while shooting at the confetti. When you have computer system with no integrity, and you need to give a test, call OffSec, you see. Best defense of what offense said the one chop them see. Proactivate your cover to get that security. Sniffing and diffing and hacking and cracking. Now send the competition, crying and packing. Spoofing and coding, debugging and scanning. Delivering the good like them name Peyton Manning. Reversing what the competition cursing. Them fishing, them wishing, what the other them just wishing. Employing exploits with the samurai precision.
OffSec company,
Them are division.
All OffSec, them are the very best.
The best.
All OffSec for penetration test.
Penetration, yeah.
Who's OffSec? Go educate the rest.
We call the expert DV online training. OffSec room for me service.
You must try harder to keep up
boy.
Otherwise you will be a big disgrace. Tell the competition them fi take a rest. OffSec run the game like Mr. Jesse James run the Wild West.
You are a hero today, but boy they found ya 0 day. Then the Navy seal the cracking, sell a lot in my pocket, and the rest of them are infantry. Them a king of the bugging, no so them a straight tugging. When they come to the legal acting, not the other skills lacking. Them say try harder, them resolve and never swear. At the street and not the business competition second grade. The rest of those noobs who run the tools, say them not have what it takes to break the rules. Run them call it the next like a Jedi master. Breaking out your system like a full-time blaster. Check the counter, boy, you know you have to cop it. Android system, you can hack from your pockets.
All OffSec, them are the very best. All OffSec for penetration tests. Who's OffSec? Go educate the rest.
We call the expert DB on my training. OffSec, who from East or West?
You must try harder to keep up the pace. Otherwise you will be a big disgrace. Tell the competition them fi take a rest.
OffSec run the game like Mr. Jesse James run the Wild West.
Can't test OffSec. Can't test OffSec. Oh, can't test OffSec. Can't test OffSec. Oh, pra pa 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 ping ping ping. Hey.
Yeah man, check
Net hunter boy, you know you have to copy it. Android system, you can hack from your pockets. Offensive security.
Okay, so hi everyone. Good day, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. I'm Haken, and I'll be your host today. Now, a little bit about me. I started playing with computers when I was 8. And as soon as I saw the computer react to the programming language commands that I put in to print stuff on the screen, I was amazed. I was amazed by it and instantly fell in love. So I love to learn all kind of interesting topics, and I try to see and I try to see what things can connect and how they connect together. Because of that, I love to solve puzzles and find patterns. So I have a curious mind paired with ADHD. So this cocktail makes life interesting in many unusual ways. Living in Canada, I see my fair share of snow, so working from home is a blessing. I love to help others as much as I can, and I'm always happy to see the ha moment, the spark in people's eyes when they understand a concept. This is an amazing feeling. So, okay, enough about me. But if you want to learn more about my various thoughts, I write out loud on my very dated blog. It's been a while. You can go to blog.aricherday.com. So, with that, let's dive in. So, today we'll talk about recompiling yourself. So, it's a journey of intentional change. There's a lot to discuss. So I might go fast, and we'll have a Q&A after that to discuss about it. And if you have questions and all that, you can have them answers as many as possible after that. So let's go. Okay. Have you ever looked at a piece of software and thought, this could be so much better if it just had a few updates, a few tweaks here and there, if it ran more efficiently, or if it had new features? Well, what if we applied that same thinking to ourselves? What if we could recompile our own operating system, update our internal code, and emerge as a more optimized, resilient, and effective version of who we are? Well, that's precisely what we're going to explore today. the powerful concept of recompiling ourself. It's about intentional and deliberate change, not just hoping for things to be different, since hope is not a strategy, but actively designing and building the life and the person we want to be. It's a journey of self discovery, strategic action, and continuous improvement, all aimed at sorry about that, all aimed at building a good foundation and better resilience. In today's connected world, this concept extends beyond our personal habits to our digital lives. We'll consider how we can strengthen our personal cybersecurity, not just protecting our data, but also our mental well being in a digitally saturated environment. We'll even touch upon the idea of personal pen testing, proactively identifying and addressing our own vulnerabilities. Much like what you would do to the systems to build stronger defenses and to test it out. And more importantly, we'll talk about finding that delicate balance between pushing ourselves to try harder, but also ensuring we maintain a sustainable, healthy life that fosters enduring resilience. You'll see that resilience is a main theme here. So this month, as we focus on mental awareness, mental health awareness, that is, these insights are more relevant than ever. We'll cover 5 key phases. So let me just click there. Perfect. And so those would be observe, define, adapt, rebuild, and test. And I'll share some practical tips and personal insights that have profoundly helped me on my own recompilation journey towards greater resilience. So let's see. Let's move on to these. Perfect. So we see that. Phase 1, it's observe. So before you can rewrite any code, this observe is the diagnostic phase. So before you can rewrite anything, you first need to understand the existing system. This is our observe phase, a critical diagnostic step where we become curious and non-judgmental observers of our own lives. Think of your life as a complex program. What are its function? What are its strengths? What are its bugs or inefficiencies? This isn't about self-criticism. It's about self-awareness, the first step towards building resilience. So the self-reflection is key. This is where journaling becomes an incredibly powerful tool. Dedicate time, even just 10 minutes a day, to write down your thoughts, feelings, reactions, and patterns. What triggers stress? When do you feel most energized? What habits are serving you and which are draining you? For me, journaling helped me understand how my brain works. I started noticing recurring thoughts patterns, emotional responses, and energy fluctuations. It was like debugging my own internal processes, seeing the loops and conditions that were running automatically. This self awareness is fundamental to building the resilience needed to face and overcome challenges. It is said that thinking and writing are very similar. So, writing down your thoughts on paper can have a powerful effect. I say paper because, yes, using a pen and paper add another depth to the process. Sure, you can just use your phone or a computer, but writing by hand makes a special connection with your brain. And it is said that engaging the motor system to produce letters by hand has positive effects on learning and memory. So this is from the Scientific American. I forgot to send in the link, but I will send it afterwards. And after that, you can observe your digital footprint and personal pen testing. So in this phase, it's also vital to observe your digital habits. How much time do you spend online? What content are you consuming? Are there digital interactions that drain your energy or expose you to unnecessary risks? Just as a pen tester would do to find vulnerabilities in systems, we can conduct a personal pen test by critically examining our digital hygiene. This means looking for weak spots in our online behavior, privacy settings, and information sharing habits that could be exploited, either by external threats or by internal drains on our mental energy. Acknowledging these vulnerabilities is a sign of strength and a key step in building digital resilience. So the other one is identify your defaults. We often operate on autopilot. So observe your default reactions, your go-to habits when you're tired, stressed, or bored. Do you scroll mindlessly? I tend to do that. Do you procrastinate? Yeah, I tend to do that too. Do you avoid difficult conversation? Yeah, definitely. These defaults are the old code that might need updating. This includes digital defaults like immediately checking notifications or habitually opening social media. Understanding these defaults helps us to build the resilience to choose a different, more beneficial path. So, for example, with my ADHD, because it doesn't apply to everyone, but in my case, I can have a hard time being clear on how much time I should spend on some tasks, like scrolling on Instagram and so on. This is part of the hygiene that can help in making sure I don't spend too much time doing what we call doom scrolling. Although I love Doom, the game is amazing, but scrolling, that's another matter. So, a few things I now do with my phone is I put a gray filter on it, and so it shows no colors, so it's a lot less appealing or fun to use. So far it helped. And the second thing is that I put almost no icons on the home screen and set just my calendar and reminders, where the reminders widgets. Removing the icons means I have to search for an app if I want to use it. So I need to remember the name. I need to type it up. So that's just enough friction for me to reconsider if I really want to open that app. So the calendar and the reminders are helpful for my time blindness since I can't seem to see the passage of time properly. So evaluating how long something would take could be pretty hard and confusing. So this helps. It also helps me to stay on track a lot more. The other one is the bigger picture. Bigger picture is essentially sometimes we get so caught up in the day to day that we lose perspective. We just have to dive in something and we keep on and keep on. And yeah, we lose track of time, as we just mentioned. So stepping back to see the bigger picture is essential here. Imagine you're looking at your life from a distance. What overarching themes emerge? Are you aligned with your values? Where do you want to be in 1, 5, 10 years? I know it's a lot time. It's a long time, but sometimes at least in 1 year, it's already something to have to consider your goals. So this bird eye view helps prioritize where to focus your recompilation efforts, including how your digital life fits into your overall well-being and where a personal pen test might reveal critical areas for improvement for building long-term resilience. This observation phase is about gathering data. It's about understanding your current state without judgment, so you can make informed decisions about where to begin this upgrade and fortify. Personally, when I observe myself to take notes and see what's going on, it's as if I'm hovering right behind and over my head watching. So this helps me to give me some perspective about any given situation. I can sometimes make a better and rational decision. I say sometimes because it's not always working, but most of the times it helps. So I can get a better and rational decision. It's not always the case, man. So after that, let's see, we have the define phase. So the define phase is setting your new specifications. Once you've observed and gathered data, the next step is to define what you want your new recompiled self to look like. This is about setting clear, actionable specifications for your personal upgrade with resilience as a core objective. So the first one would be the clarity. So clarity is power. Vague goals lead to vague results. Instead of I want to be healthier, define it as I will exercise for 30 minutes 4 times a week and eat 5 servings of vegetables daily. When it comes to digital life, define goals like I will limit social media to 30 minutes a day. These definitions are your security requirements for your personal system designed to build mental and digital resilience. So you don't end up just, again, doom scrolling, like I mentioned earlier. The other thing that is very important is one task at a time. Trying to change everything at once is like trying to rewrite an entire software program in a single sitting. It's overwhelming and prone to errors. Focus on one task at a time. Pick one significant habit or behavior you want to change and dedicate your energy to that. Master it, then move to the next. This focused approach builds momentum and resilience, preventing overwhelm. For someone learning or practicing cybersecurity, for example, this means defining specific areas of focus for their pen testing skills, mastering one tool or technique before moving to the next, building their expertise and resilience in the face of complex challenges. So it's not always the same for everyone, but in my case, with that being said, with ADHD, it can be challenging to even start. I can get overwhelmed even if I have a project and it only has 3 steps. So I have to be very mindful about it. I need to take a step back, like we mentioned earlier, and see what's the end goal. So it makes it easier to find the next step, even if it's just picking up the phone to make an appointment. Even that can be overwhelming. So that's a good thing to just rethink it and take some time to review what is the very best important next step. The other one is leverage Parkinson's law. This one is annoying and good at the same time. So this law states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. So when defining tasks, give them strict, realistic deadlines. Not always easy, but it helps. If you allocate an hour to an email, it will take an hour. If you allocate 15 minutes, you'll likely get it done in 15. It's the same thing as when we're in school and we have a deadline for a report to give back to the teacher, and we have 3 weeks. If we might wait to the last minute to do it, that's possible. But it's that if it was a shorter time, we might do it faster. That's annoying, I know. So this forces efficiency and helps you. It helps you focus. So that's a hard one to do, but it can help. So it can prevent tasks from becoming overwhelming and contributing to burnout. This disciplined approach is a cornerstone of resilience. For example, instead of work on presentation, that's pretty vague as well. So it comes back to the previous point about vague goals. We could define it as complete slides 1 to 5 of presentation by 11 a.m. However, this is not always that easy. So I use that with a grain of salt. Using reminders and a set time for some small steps can help against time blindness when this law is not helping you. Because when a strict deadline becomes a stressor, this doesn't help you out your outcome. You have to be mindful where you stand. So you have to know yourself a bit more. You have to make sure that you know yourself. So by clearly defining your desired outcomes and breaking them into manageable time-bound tasks, you create a roadmap for your recompilation, ensuring personal growth, digital safety, and robust resilience. On the counterpart, going too far with the details and steps, it can lead to paralysis by analysis. So that's another bugger. So that's and it's not a great one, but you have to be mindful. So it's a balance. It's a dance between both. So next, we're at phase 3, adapt. So we're going fast. I want to make sure that I've got as much content as possible. So we can review anything you need afterwards. Even the best designed software needs patches and updates. Our adapt phase acknowledges that change isn't always linear. There will be glitches, unexpected errors, and moments when you need to adjust your approach. This phase is where your resilience is truly tested and strengthened. So the first one I really like is the 5-second rule. This simple yet profound rule, popularized by Mel Robbins, is about interrupting procrastination. When you have an impulse to act on a goal, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move. So important to move, to act, to do something. So it bypasses your brain's tendency to overthink and talk you out of action. It's a powerful tool for initiating the adapt process when you feel stuck, whether it's starting that difficult task or stepping away from a screen. This quick action builds mental fortitude and helps you bounce back from inertia. This rule was a game changer for me, especially for things I knew I should do but lacked the immediate motivation for, like starting an exercise or making a difficult call. It taught me to overcome initial resistance and act, a vital component of resilience. Once again, it's not always easy, but it helps me to get the ball rolling. The Pomodoro technique, which it's Italian word for tomato. So you'll see why it's called like that if you don't know this technique. This management method involves breaking work into 25 minutes intervals, most likely. It's not always the case, but 25 minutes is the most common. The Pomodoros, those are called Pomodoros, and they're separated by short breaks. Essentially, the Pomodoro is Italian for tomato, as I said, and it's because the person who invented it, I forgot the name for this person, but who invented it used a kitchen timer, which was formed in the shape of a tomato. So that's how it came about. So it trains your focus, prevents burnout, and helps you adapt to sustained effort. If you find yourself losing focus, a short break can reboot your concentration. This technique is also excellent for managing screen time and preventing digital fatigue, helping you balance intense focus with necessary rest, which is crucial for maintaining mental resilience over long periods. Personally, this technique can be a hit or miss, so it depends where you land in the distractibility spectrum. One thing that helps with the focus is to make sure you take the 5 minute break and do something boring. It has to be boring, like staring at the wall. I'm not kidding, it helps. So I know it sounds weird, but your brain might just get so bored that it will do everything to get back to anything else than just staring at the wall. This can make the next work and focus session more productive. And the other one is the flexibility over rigidity. You know, life happens. You'll miss a day or fall off track. The key is not to abandon the entire recompilation effort. Adapt if you miss a workout. Don't give up for the week. Just get back on track the next day. I mean, if you are on a diet, if you eat a slice of cake, it doesn't mean that you should just end up eating all the cake because, well, I fell off, so it's ruined anyway. When it's not ruined, it's just that it's something that you need to learn from, and you begin again the next time. So this iterative approach is crucial for long-term success and is the very definition of resilience, the ability to bounce back and adjust. It's about progress, not perfection, and finding balance. Trying harder is good, but it can sometimes be unsustainable, so you have to be mindful where you stand. The other one that I really like is the Stoicism. This ancient philosophy teaches us to focus on what we control and accept what we cannot. When faced with setbacks or external obstacles, whether it's a personal challenge or a new cyber threat, Stoicism helps us adapt mentally. We can control our effort, our attitude, and our response, even if we can't control the outcome. It's about building mental resilience, a vital component of any personal recompilation, especially in managing anxieties related to digital life and the ever present nature of cyber risks. It provides the fortitude to withstand adversity. Adaptation is about being agile. It's about learning from your experiences, making necessary adjustments, and continuing to move forward, even when the path isn't perfectly smooth. This continuous process builds and solidifies your resilience. The next one is rebuild, phase 4. So, with the phase 4, we have the rebuild, which is the implementing the new code. This is the core of the recompilation process, actively installing the new programs and building new habits. It's where observation, definition, and adaptation come together in tangible action, strengthening your core resilience. Consistent action this is very, very important. The new actions, the new habits, in fact, aren't formed overnight. We all know that. They require consistent, repeated action. Think of each repetition as a line of code, a new line of code being written into your system. This includes building habits for mental well being and digital security. Every consistent effort builds a layer of resilience. By being consistent, it shows you that you're someone who can be trustworthy because you're making a promise to yourself and keeping it by putting in the work consistently. This is vital, vital for self esteem over time. The other one is the physical catalysts and balance. Sometimes changing your physical state can be a powerful catalyst for the mental health and emotional shifts and help create balance, which is essential. One is the cold shower. It's not everyone loves it, but well, let's see. The cold shower is starting your day. For myself, I start my day. You don't have to start your day with that, but to me, it helps. Starting your day with a cold shower, even just 3 minutes. For some, that might be a lot, but 1 minute or even 30 seconds is still good. Is a fantastic way to build mental toughness, resilience, and discipline. It's uncomfortable, yeah, but it teaches your body and mind to adapt to stress and push through discomfort. I personally like it. I like to do that in the morning because it wakes me up and help to get the blood flowing. So it helps the clarity of mind as well. So to me, it helps a lot. The other one is walking. Regular walking, just walking, especially in nature, clears your mind, boosts creativity, and reduces stress. It's a simple, accessible way to integrate movement and mindfulness in your day, creating a foundation for other positive changes and providing a crucial counterbalance to prolonged screen time. These practices build physical and mental stamina, contributing to your resilience. Personally, I normally take a walk in the hallway. If I don't go outside, just in the hallway to clear my head and figure out the problem I'm working on, especially when I'm stuck or when I need some perspective. Knowing that, and because I want to make sure to get some exercise in the day, I bought a standing desk and a walking pad so I can walk while working. So I hit two birds with one stone. I solved the issues faster. I saw it it was better. To me, it works wonders. So the other one is mindset shifts. Trying harder, but with balance. Rebuilding isn't just about external actions, it's about internal shifts. Philosophy and psychology. Well, while I'm mentioning that, I'm not a doctor, so I can claim anything in that, but it just says that I found some very interesting insights in there. So with the philosophy and psychology, delving into that, like the stoicism that we mentioned earlier, and the psychology, can provide frameworks for understanding human behavior, motivation, and well-being. They offer insights into why we do what we do and how we can consciously choose different paths. Understanding concepts like cognitive biases, growth mindset, or the power of habits can significantly aid your rebuilding efforts. Crucially, these fields also teach us about the importance of rest, recovery, and setting boundaries to prevent burnout when we are trying harder. It's about smart effort, not just endless effort, ensuring your resilience is sustainable. For security professionals, this balance is crucial to avoid burnout in a demanding field, maintaining their long term effectiveness. Learning about how my brain works from a psychological perspective helped me be more compassionate with myself during the rebuilding phase. It's not about willpower alone, it's about understanding the mechanisms of habits, the habit formation, and leveraging them, and recognizing when to push and when to rest, which is key to building endurance and enduring resilience. I'm still learning this one. I'm trying, I'm practicing every day. So it's a work in progress. So the rebuilding is an active, ongoing process. It requires commitment, but the rewards of a more robust and efficient self both personally and digitally secure and deeply resilient, are immeasurable. This is amazing. The outcome you can have is amazing. And the next one is the phase 5 test. So, the test, debugging and optimizing. No software release is perfect from day one. The test phase is about evaluating your progress, identifying what's working and what's not, and continuously optimizing your recompiled self. This phase is crucial for hardening your resilience. Regular review and continuous pen testing. So, with that, you go back to your journaling, and are any new habits? Are they sticking? Are you seeing the desired results? What unexpected challenges showed up? This regular review is your debugging process. For cybersecurity, this means regularly checking your privacy settings, reviewing account activity, and staying informed about new threats. Just as security experts perform recurring pen tests to ensure ongoing security, we must continuously test our personal and digital defenses, adapting to new challenges and vulnerabilities that emerge. This ongoing vigilance is a hallmark of true resilience. The other one is iterate and refine. If something isn't working, don't be afraid to adjust. Maybe a goal was too ambitious or a strategy wasn't the right fit. This is where stepping back to see the bigger picture becomes vital again. Reevaluate your overall trajectory and is this new code truly serving you? Is it serving your higher purpose, your mental well being, and your digital security? This iterative refinement demonstrates and builds your capacity to overcome obstacles. The other one is celebrate small wins. It's not always easy, and it can sound cheesy, but this is a good one. Just as developers celebrate successful feature releases, acknowledge your progress, no matter how small. This positive reinforcement fuels motivation and reinforces the new pathways you're building. This could be successfully implementing a new security measure, consistently sticking to our digital boundaries, or taking that much needed break. Celebrating these steps reinforces your belief in your ability to build resilience. Another one is to embrace failure as feedback. This one, I have a hard time with it. So, but still true. In software development, bugs are not always failures. They are opportunities for learning and improvement. Adopt the same mindset for your personal recompilation. If you stumble, whether it's a lapse in digital security or a struggle with balancing try harder, it's not a sign to give up. It's feedback that a different approach might be needed. Learn, adjust, and move forward. This ability to learn and bounce back from setbacks is the essence of resilience. For security learners, every failed pen test is a valuable lesson that builds their expertise and resilience. But for this to work, you have to take notes of what's done, what's successful, and what's not. So it comes back to the importance of journaling. The testing phase ensures that your recompiled self is not just functional, but truly optimized for your unique life, goals, mental health, and digital safety, fostering deep and enduring resilience. So, in conclusion, recompiling ourself is not a one-time event. It's a continuous journey of growth, learning, and intentional evolution. It's about taking ownership of our personal operating system and consciously choosing to upgrade it. It's ensuring both our inner strength and digital security, leading to profound and lasting resilience. So overall, what we've walked through the 5 critical phases: the observe, understanding your current state through self-awareness and journaling, including your digital habits and conducting a personal pen test to identify areas for building resilience. Define, setting clear, actionable goals for personal growth and cybersecurity, focusing on one task at a time and using Parkinson's law to your advantage, all aimed at fortifying your system for resilience. Adapt, being flexible, using tools like the 5 second rule and Pomodoro technique, and embracing stoicism for mental fortitude and the ability to bounce back in a complex world. Internal and external defenses. And finally, test, regularly reviewing, debugging, and optimizing your progress, both personally and digitally, through continuous self assessment, akin to recurring pen tests, ensuring your resilience is constantly honed and effective. You have to remember, you have the power to design your life. You are not merely a product of your past code, you are the architect of your future self. Start small, be consistent, and be patient with yourself. Every small adjustment, every new line of code you write brings you closer to the optimized resilience and thriving version of yourself you are meant to be. A version that is both mentally strong and digitally secure, capable of withstanding challenges and bouncing forward. Thank you. So now, let's see. Do you have any questions? Let's see. Okay. So we've got one question. What advice would you give to someone who feels stuck in a cycle of overworking but does not know where to start making a change? Okay. Well, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, what advice would you give to someone? So, you're feeling stuck in a cycle. So, it's always the same thing, or you're trying something, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you're trying to make changes, but still with overworking, uh, yeah, it's not an easy one. But where to start? Where to start? You have to figure out the best way. It's like making a decision. It's like making a decision about something. Sometimes we have multiple types of decisions that are either reversible or not reversible. So, with that said, you have to understand what is your end goal. What is your end goal? What do you want to do? What do you want to end up doing? What is your goal? What is your focus? And you have to have a roadmap for that. So you have to have a broad stroke of what you want to do. So if you want to do something super large, a big problem, a big deal, a big project, uh, it can't be done in just one sitting. So you have to understand, okay, what's the end goal? I want to do X. I want to build an app. And so first of all, what is the goal of the app? So this app would take appointments for doctors, for example, and you can sell it. So this is the goal, and this is the app. And now, okay, what's the next step? What do you need to do? Well, you could start by anything, but first of all, why not start by trying to find what is your who is your target? That's one thing. You can just start by making a market analysis by seeing if people are interested in that. So that is a first step. So if you don't know how, well, you try to see with people that you know, if if they know some people that could be interested in sharing their thoughts about XYZ. So this is a step that you can do. And if we go very basic, the just having the being able to needing to change the tires on a vehicle, for example. Well, you need to change the tires. Okay, cool. Do you have tires? No. Okay, you need to buy tires. Yes. So where to start? I don't know. Okay, where do they sell tires? Well, to garages and other places. Okay, cool. So you go and search for those and you find one and you find the phone number and you call or you contact them by emails. And that's the kind of thing. So you go and start with a small step. You find the smallest step possible. Sometimes even just moving and getting up is the first step. Sometimes it's that basic, and it sounds bad but at the same time, if it's all you can do right now, especially when people are depressed. If it's all you can do, then do whatever you can. If it's just taking a shower to change your mind, that can help sometimes. That that is basic, but this is something that can make make a big change. So you start with the smallest thing possible that you can do that could lead you to the direction that you want to go. So that would be what I would say. Hopefully that answered your question. So we've got another one. You have mentioned so many techniques or changes in each phase. Is there one that stands out as the most impactful for yourself personally? Yes. Well, yeah, I say yes, but there are many. So let's reduce that to one. One that helped a lot was really journaling. So journaling, I was able to go back to um, past past things that I did in my life when I was younger, when I was a kid, and I was able to revisit those events and analyze them with newer eyes to just see what's the why am I who I am? How did I become who I am right now? What led me to be who I am? So it's not, again, it's not about judgment. It's just about finding what happened. What happened? What led me to that? Is this a problem? Is this something I want to change? Is this just data, just an information? So writing it, and again, using the pen and paper, I'm I'm a hard believer of the pen and paper for the connection with the brain and all that. So it helps because yeah, typing on the phone, it's not the same. Speaking in the phone to record it works. I mean, it's better than nothing, but taking the time to write down and think about it, it helps. So you can revisit it and see what happened. So I started journaling when about when COVID started, just a bit before that. And so I've got those books again, and I can review what I was thinking as that at that time. So that's super interesting, super interesting. And yeah, I would say journaling. So we have another one. How do you maintain boundaries between work and personal life in a remote or always connected environment? That is a good one. It's hard. It's hard. I know, I don't know for since I'm a neurodivergent, I can only speak for myself, but I'm guessing it is not easy for someone, even if they're neurotypical. But in my case, maintaining boundaries ideally is to have a good sense of where to do what. So if you have a house, ideally each location or just the position of a chair and a table can have an impact. So if you have an office, if you can have an office space, you work there. You don't play there, and you don't necessarily work in your bedroom because the bedroom is for something else, a few other things than working. So ideally sleeping, and maybe something else. But that's why it's not necessarily a good idea to have a TV in your room because that's not what it's for. And ideally, you should technically split more everything so your brain knows that, okay, so I'm in that mode because I'm there. The location has an impact of what you can achieve and do at that time. So that's pretty powerful. And if you don't have a lot of space, again, just changing a bit the location, not the location, but changing the environment a bit. So if you have one desk that is facing on one side, if you move it to the other for doing something else, then maybe it can help as well. It's not the same environment. Sure, it's the same, probably the same room, but again, it tricks the brain. So try it, see if it helps. But even just myself, when I was working in an office, um, not remotely, it was still a big struggle For example, I had my monitor on my computer. I was facing the wall because I didn't want to see people around me. Just people moving behind me was enough of a distraction. So if I had a screen that was reflecting their movements, that was annoying. But the screen that I had a border around it that was glossy, so I could. It was almost as a mirror, so I could see them still. So I put um, black electric tape around the screen to block the glossiness. So it helped, and with headphones as well, it helped. So you have to find little tricks and tips to isolate yourself as much as possible so you can separate your work and your personal life. But if you have people in the house, it's important to just let them know that you're not necessarily available for that period of time. And the the settings on your phone can greatly help because sometimes you cannot just go without your phone because you need to be on call or something like that. So you cannot just shut down your phone. But blocking notifications or using the do not disturb function can help a lot, and filtering calls so not everyone can get to you. So it helps because otherwise it's easy to just get lost and get distracted. So that's another big one. So do you have any other questions? Let's see. Okay, so for in fact I can go back to just go back in more details for the journaling is one thing. So another, I still, I said that I don't only have one, but I don't have one, just one. So the uh, the other questions, not questions, sorry, but the other thing, other than journaling, is really the walking. The walking is underrated. The walking is so underrated because that's why I'm not kidding. I bought a standing desk and I bought the walking pad to walk on it, and I accustomed myself to be able to walk at a certain pace, about 2 miles per hour, and be able to type at the same time because it's at the right height. So, and since whenever I've got a problem that I need to figure it out, I need to get out of the problem and walk in the hallway, I just resolve it as I walk. Plus, I get the burned calories to my day, so that's good. So, do you have any other questions? Anything else? So we'll get a few more minutes, and we'll be uh, we'll be able to close. Oh, okay. Well, we've got one. What outdated beliefs or habits might you be carrying that need recompiling? Well, it depends. It depends on the person, but one example: outdated beliefs or habits. It's normally it would be a habit that you don't want or a belief that doesn't serve you anymore. So if for example, if you believed in Santa Claus when you were a kid, maybe now you can still believe in it. It's fine, but maybe it doesn't serve you anymore. So you decide to believe in something else. So that's one thing. But more more seriously, the outdated beliefs and habits could, in my case, I was I was very angry most of the time. And I didn't understand before I got diagnosed with ADHD. I was angry all the time, and I could not understand why, and I could not understand that people would not understand me, and I just said it, and why don't you get it? And so was getting it was getting toxic around me because of me. And so I realized that it's not the person I want to be anymore. So I had to figure out why I was like that. So I had to dig down very deep for this belief. So, and the belief that I found, one of them for that, for example, was that I found that I thought that whoever didn't uh, not agree with me, but just listen to me or show that they heard me or understood, they would be disrespectful. Or the other one was that I thought I had to be right. So I had to have the last word, you know? And so that is something that is not helpful because you just keep on hanging on, having the other person say what you want to say, what you want to hear, and they don't necessarily do that. And so it's not about what I really like to think about is it's not about being right. It's about doing what's right. And by letting go of all that anger, all that pain that doesn't serve me at all. I mean, there's a cause for everything, but if it doesn't serve you anymore, if you find what caused it, and if you can remove it, not necessarily just ignore it, because ignoring it is not the solution. Ignoring a feeling or something like that, it's not the solution. All it does is you just build a better version of yourself, but that's very fragile. If you dig down, dig deep, and understand what's going on, what happened, why did this happen, and you really try to find to the best of your knowledge what's the reason behind that, and you accept it, or you understand it, or you do whatever you need to do to feel the emotion fully without suppressing it, but just making sure that you understand why it was there, why it served you for a moment, but now maybe it doesn't. And in that case, if it doesn't serve you, well, you can decide to change it. I'm not saying it's easy, but to me, just trying to yell less and be less angry, I made myself accountable and asked people around me that if I am getting overboard or too um, angry with you for no reason, you have my permission to tell me. And I have no reason to say otherwise. And sometimes it's frustrating because then the person says, well, you told me that if in case you do this, I should tell you that. I'm like, well, you're right. That's true. I said that. So it helped. Accountability helped. And the other one was to have streaks, just be able to put that on the calendar and say, okay, today I went without getting angry at all for no reason. Or it happened this morning, but here's why. And again, by journaling, it helps because you can think about it and you can figure it out instead of just being reactive to everything that happens in your life. So that's another good reason why journaling is good for that. It helps. The introspection is very, very important in order to have more resilience, more become anti-fragile, in fact. And the anti-fragile is not the the inverse of fragile. Being fragile is you can break easily or you can shut down easily. Anti-fragile is you can break down, but you learn from what broke you and it makes you better. So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, that kind of thing. It sounds cliche or easy to say, but it helps. It helps. We have to learn. In this life, we have so many things to learn uh, from others, from ourselves. Uh, there is a plethora of things to learn and be grateful about. And this is amazing, amazing. Yeah. So the last few things I could say is make sure before we close this down, make sure to observe what you're doing, how you react. Be an observer of yourself all the time, and be sure to again the observer that is just behind you, checking your moves and seeing what you're doing. That it helps me. So that's the kind of thing that can be very helpful in realizing what am I doing? Am I really am I really observing my values? Am I being honest with myself and others? Am I truthful? Am I at least maybe we don't have the truth in itself, but at least if we don't lie, that's already a start. So that's a big that's a big deal. A big deal. And regardless of other people, that regardless if other people are just treating you like crap and whatnot, uh, sometimes it can be a blessing because now you know who those persons are and what their intention is. So sometimes you can never you cannot know for sure anyone 100%, but most of the times people will tell you if you listen closely enough. If you take the time to listen to them, they'll tell you. So that's that's something that I would suggest. Take the time to listen to you and others and be mindful of what you're doing. So again, we say try harder, try harder. Yes, it's important because we have to have resilience. We have to be mindful of doing something. And if we quit on something, it's fine if we decide to not do it anymore. But ideally, just to prove to ourselves that it's not because we're lazy, then we should ideally uh, use something else or change it with another habit or another thing that we want to do that is harder. So we can prove ourselves, okay, do I really want to switch to that? Is it really my goal because I really don't like it? Or it's just because I'm bored? That's being bored is something that can easily make you switch or change your mind. So with that being said, I wish you all the best, all the best. And I hope that everyone got something out of that. And if you have any doubt that you you're not worth anything, well, I mean, you're worth you're worth a lot. You, you mean something, and I'm not saying this lightly. It's it's important that we in this chaotic world, we need to be mindful of what we're doing because everything we say has an impact. Everything we do has an impact. And everything we think also has an impact. Even though we don't necessarily say it out loud, it has an impact. So be mindful. Be mindful. Take take time to assess your life and see what you want to change. And even if it's just a small thing, most of the time it's worth it. It could be the snowball effect that you needed at you were or that you were waiting for. Because motivation alone won't do it for you. Because it's easy to be motivated when you're feeling good. But when you're feeling bad, motivation doesn't help you much because it's not there. So you have to be mindful of that, and that's how you build resilience and a discipline with yourself. Thank you very much. You have a great day. Hmm. Okay, cool. Okay.